Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Sarah Smith, and you're listening to Raw Intentions. I'm just having the best day, guys. I'm in Denver recording podcasts. I've got 4 today and just kicked it off with our first one, and it was stunning. It was amazing. I'm so excited for y'all to hear it. We've got some incredible guests in the lineup, and it's just so much fun. Why do I love podcasting so much? Probably because I like to hear myself talk and I like to ask questions. Sue me. Anyways, just in case this is your first time listening, before we get into this week's episode, I would love to give you guys a little elevator pitch. And as I just said, talk about myself because I love talking about myself, hence why I have a podcast. So like I said in the intro, my name is Sarah Smith, Sarah with an H, Smith with a Y. I'm from Madison, Alabama, and currently living in Breckenridge, Colorado, right down the street from this beautiful studio in Denver. I am 30 years old and graduated from Auburn in 2017. I was studying to be a bilingual occupational therapist. So rehab disability studies and Spanish, so random, and was incredibly broke in college, as most people were without their parents' credit cards, waitressing at Texas Roadhouse with any free time I had, and decided to start making jewelry as a little side hustle because I wanted to buy jewelry and couldn't afford any. And I just wanted more money to do God knows what with. And I started making necklaces for myself and my friends out of my college apartment. And what started as just a little side hustle, little innocent thing, blossomed into what is now my full-time job, my brand, my baby to this day. So it's called Raw and Rebellious. That's at raw_rebellious on Instagram. We actually don't do jewelry at all anymore, which is kind of crazy. We are more of a lifestyle brand. So I do clothing, I do hats, I do custom stuff, I do prints, shoes, merch, pop-ups, events, meetups, ski uphill events, retreats, international trips, influencing, YouTube, my podcast. I wear many, many hats, and it's been so cool growing with this brand. And probably my favorite part of my business and of having this platform on social media is the community that came along with it. We've really cultivated it very organically over the last 8 or 9 years, and it's been really cool growing together. I chat with y'all via DMs every single day. I feel like anyone that follows us is literally my best friend. And that's what led me to start this podcast 3 years ago now. Raw Intentions is to have this very raw, authentic, relatable, and intentional connection with our audience, and just further that connection from the conversations we have via DMs to me talking to y'all through a mic once a week. And it's been so much fun. I've learned so much, and I do solo episodes as well as have lots of people come on and share their story. And that brings us to today's guest. Today we have Brittany Brown. She is a local entrepreneur, educator, owns her own agency, helping brands and influencers connect and be successful. And our conversation just lit me the fuck up. She is so genius in what she does, and watching her talk about her passion made me light up and give me chills because she was so excited about it. You can tell she really loves what she does, and she's really, really passionate about it and clearly knows her stuff. She started her own agency working with influencers like 5 years ago and has grown so much. Was able to quit her full-time job and has been doing this full-time ever since. She also educates. She has programs where she helps influencers grow and pitch themselves and learn the ins and outs of this ever-growing, ever-changing business of influencer marketing. So it was a really cool conversation, and selfishly, I got to ask all the questions I'm curious about as I have started my influencer journey as well. And you guys are going to love this episode. Brittany is so cool. Cannot wait to hang again. Thank you so much for coming on. And without further ado, let's introduce Brittany Brown to Raw Intentions. Why did y'all start your podcast? What was your...
So we started because I think we all wanted to start a podcast together. We just liked talking about just like all the different subjects. Like it really was started about like YouTube, or not YouTube, like just social media, Instagram.
Is there influencer?
Yeah, we all started off like in the dog space as like dog influencers.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
Is that how you guys met?
Yeah. I just like, so Devin posted, it was some YouTube video where she was just kind of like talking about the ups and downs of like the influencer industry. And I was like, oh my God, I'm resonating with every single thing. I remember I was like in the car, I had just finished listening to it like on my drive, and I like voice messaged her on Instagram, and I was like, oh my God, everything you said, I like relate to so much. Like, I would love to talk more about this. Like, what's your number? Like, let's chat, whatever. And then we kind of like chatted off and on. And then I was also friends with Maggie separately. I don't know if Devin and Maggie like even follow each other at that point, but I was like...
Are they both in Denver?
Maggie's in Vancouver, Washington, and Devin's in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying Phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I was like, hey, do you mind if like Maggie, like I put us all in a group chat, like let's just talk about all this stuff. And then it just kind of became like us voice messaging and like sharing stories, like sharing all the ups and downs of like influencing, like what brands were annoying us, what like trends were annoying us, like what drama was happening. And we were like, okay, let's like share more about this in a podcast format. And we came up with We're So Glad We're Friends, because it was like basically just like, thank God we have each other kind of thing. And so we kind of talk a lot about friendship and just like how friendships evolve over time into like adulthood, and how it's like sometimes harder, like depending on where you're moving and like your personality style. Like Devin's more introverted, I'm more extroverted. And there's just like so many different things. So I feel like we have a really good mix of like personalities and different things that like we all kind of bring something different to the table and all share our experiences that way.
I love that. And I mean, as someone that owns their own business and is in the influencer space, like getting to have conversations with other people doing the same thing, because most of my friends are 9-to-5ers.
Yeah.
And they just like, and they're so supportive, but they just don't quite understand, because how could you unless you are doing it yourself? 100%. So when you find that person, like you said, like you voice someone and you're like, oh my God, I relate to all of this. It's the best feeling, because you're really like, holy shit, I'm not alone. Yeah. And also just navigating friendships, because how old are you?
I'm 31. I just turned 31. That's like,
oh my God, happy birthday. I just turned, well, not just in September, but I feel like I just turned 30.
Yeah. It was like exciting. How did you feel about it?
I felt really, really good about it, because I don't feel old at all. And 30 is like such a cool decade I'm really excited about, because when I look back, I'm like big into like journaling and like
I love how much you journal.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with it. It like really helps me, because I'm so ADD. It like helps me like get present and like look back on things and like try to learn from whatever happened. 100%. And I think podcasting helps me with that a lot too. If I'm going through something hard, I try to figure out a way to like talk about it so that I can like relate to other people. But I was journaling about like each decade and like looking back at like photos and like things that I was doing and like things that I was worried about, because I've been journaling for forever. So I mean, I have diaries from like 6th grade.
That's so cool.
Which I love. Like but looking back on them is so scary.
You're
but
like, why did you care about that?
Oh my God. My like 5th grade diary, I guess we got a talk from like, you know, like DARE, like the people against like, drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
Future Sarah, I really hope you're not drinking or having sex or doing drugs. And I was like,
sorry,
I don't
girl.
know. I don't know what to tell you, sister. But
That's
it's just
really
it's
funny.
so funny. But it's so cool looking back at like where I was at like 20 and 21 and 22.
Yes.
And like when I was 22, that's when I started my business and like everything that came with that. And to think of like how much growth happened, I feel like when you're 30, you're starting at like this higher level where you're more confident in yourself. You're more selfish with your time. You know what you're doing. You hopefully have more money and like you have more autonomy in your life to really just like live it in a more aligned way.
For sure.
Because you have an understanding of that.
Huge. Is like living life on your terms more so than like, I feel like in my 20s, I was so much more focused on like, am I living someone else's definition of success?
Yeah.
And now I'm like really like, what is success for me?
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to set up my business for success? And how am I going to like, what is my purpose? How do I show up for my best self? And how do I show up for like my future best self too?
Yeah.
And I feel like journaling is one of those things too, that I think overall what I've realized is that I think a lot of people, at least myself, I live very like unconsciously if I don't journal. And what happens for me when I journal is I'm like realizing like, oh, I have this like icky feeling right now. Why do I have that icky feeling? Or like I'm having a really down week. Like what's going on? And being able to connect those dots and just kind of become more present with myself and see like, okay, this is how this is all connected. And this is like what, you know, you've been through this before. So like, this is how you can like move past it kind of thing. But I think like I just live like just going through the motions quite a bit, and journaling helps bring me back to the present and like be in my body and be in myself. And I think that's something that's like so powerful. And our life is so like go, 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 like everything. Like, I think there's so much like instant gratification. Like, how can we just like get the next thing? And it's like, how can in journaling and just kind of like reflecting and different things like that help bring me back to this like present moment and just like be able to enjoy it and celebrate it and like just sit in it versus like trying to jump to the next thing.
Absolutely.
I just listened to a podcast on like the anxious generation. I don't know if you've heard of that book, but one of the things that he talked about that really like kind of struck a chord with me is like, we as a society, especially like kids now, are really chasing quick dopamine fixes. So like, what are little things that you can like do that give you that instant gratification and that dopamine fix? And like, I'm like, okay, versus long dopamine where you're like having to work towards something and then accomplish it and get that dopamine like as a reward after you've worked hard for something.
Okay.
And so it's like oftentimes this like thing where it's like, okay, how can I kind of balance those things out? Because I think oftentimes it's like, okay, great, I landed this brand deal for a client. Like, what's the next thing?
Totally.
Instead of being like, I landed this awesome brand deal for this client. And this is like helping them do X, Y, and Z where their goals are. And this is going to help them for whatever else, other opportunities. So I think that's like another really important thing, just because life is so quick.
It is. And even with like milestones, I'm horrible at celebrating those. And when you journal about something, like say that you're manifesting or there's something that you really want, it's cool. Maybe this brand deal is like a dream. Like 2 years ago, you would have been like, there's no way. And now it's something that you've landed. But at this point, you're already looking to the next thing and you're not thinking about it. And I think the same rings true for if you're going through something really, really hard. You journal about it and your life just feels awful. And like you feel awful and you don't know what the fuck you're doing or with your life or with your work or a breakup, whatever it is. And then you read maybe a journal entry that you did a year ago where you're also going through a hard time and you're like, wait, but I got through that time. So I can get through. Like it also gives you resilience and like that trust in yourself of like, I am going to be okay. It's okay 100%. That I'm feeling this way. Like, let me be in my body and like notice this. Or like I'm scrolling on Instagram and I randomly just got anxious. Wait, why did I get anxious? Like, was it my ex's post? Was it like a girl that I'm like comparing myself to and now I feel less than because of what she's accomplishing? Why do I feel that way? Like that's been a really big thing for me too, is like, because I'm not very good at, I've started meditating while I make coffee in the morning, which has helped because I can't really like sit in bed and like ho hum. That's just not my thing.
That was Jay Shetty just did a podcast with Tinks. I don't know if you follow either of them.
No, but I know who they are. Yeah.
One of his huge tips was just like, you can meditate in like any situation. He's like, just taking a deep breath is like a start to meditation. And I was like, damn, I really need to remember that. Like fucking just breathing makes such a huge difference.
Well, I mean, it's like anything. The health and wellness space has just gotten so they monetize it, right? So they're like,
you need an hour of meditation.
Totally. And you need this specific app. And then also you need to buy this journal and you need to buy this like everything. Like you just buy. When it's meditation and mindfulness at its core is just noticing your thoughts and like allowing them space and then letting them go. And I was always so caught up on like, I have to, like, I want to meditate because I feel like all the successful people that you hear on like Skinny Confidential or whatever are like, I meditate for 2 hours in the morning and I levitate and then I do a cold plunge and then I'm like,
well, that's like, I'm
drinking my blood. I'm like, huh? What do
especially you mean? Like being on the mountain time too. I feel so behind sometimes when I wake up in the morning because I have client like, you know, brands and stuff on the East Coast and they're like, good morning. Like, when is this coming in? And I'm like, fuck, it's 7 a.m.
Yeah, like I just woke up.
Or like for me, I finish my workout at usually like 7 a.m. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to go home and like shower and make
and
breakfast and have a morning. And then I'm going to get started.
Yes, exactly.
So I think that sometimes I'm like, I really want this like longer routine. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I need to find that balance because it's also, I think the other huge thing for me over the last year, at least, is like a wind down routine. So just as important as a morning routine, a wind down routine is so essential for me because I find myself, if I don't have this like end point to my day or this separation, then I'm like wired and I'm just thinking my mind is running like all night.
And thinking about work.
So I think having some sort of wind down routine and like bedtime routine like makes such a difference for like being able to separate that and shut my brain off. And because entrepreneurs, I think like you just never stop thinking about your business.
You have to kind of force yourself to, because I'm the same way. Like I've started in the morning meditating while I make coffee, which Insight Timer is free if you don't sign up for the paid version. And there's so like 10 minute, 5 minute, you could like listen to it on the way to your workouts in the morning. So I feel like that's a really good way to like work that in just for some mindfulness, and it's good practice.
Is it an app?
It's an app.
Okay,
and
cool.
And they like try to get you 5 times. You're like, oh, well, this is a free version, but with the paid version, and just keep saying no. And they're like, well, here's a free trial just in case, and you can still just keep it free. And there's so many meditations and stuff you can do, and you can like set goals where you're like, I would like to try to meditate like 2 or 3 times a week, say, like just to start out. And then it'll like tick that for you every time, which is like for me kind of satisfying. I love a to-do list. And then like when you cross something off, I'm like, yep, I'm doing this just to get the credit. Like, let's go. Let's fucking go. But I've been doing that. And then I've started my morning with a gratitude journal. So I write like 5 things that I'm grateful for each morning. And it seems, because to me, mornings are like my most productive. I wake up at 5:30, drink some water, make coffee, and then I like start working usually. Because I like when the world is asleep. I like, that's when I answer all my texts, all my emails, because then no one's awake to respond, and then I just don't answer for the rest of the day. And
do not disturb.
Yeah, no, literally, I'm always on do not disturb. And everyone gets mad at me and I'm like, my phone is not a contract to me, but that's a whole nother thing. But I started doing the gratitude journal in the morning and it takes like 2 seconds and it just sets me up. I feel like for more positivity, for noticing more good things in the day. So that I've really enjoyed. And then for me at night, my showers are super like, that's a marker for me of like, maybe I went like skinning after work or something.
Sarah's asked me to go skinning like 5
so
times.
Many
and
times.
I'm like, I feel like, Sarah, you skin every fucking day. Like I skin like once or twice a week maybe. And I'm like absolutely dead every single time. But girl,
we will still go.
I'm practicing. I'm stair stepping.
Oh, okay.
So I just got a membership to Vasa.
Love.
And I'm working on like 15 to 25 minutes of stair stepping.
Holy shit.
I know. I was really surprised.
Stair stepper's hard.
I know, but I did it. I fucking did it.
Good for you.
It was okay.
Yeah, I can't. I'm like huffing on the Stairmaster. I do like 5 or 10 minutes and I'm like, I'm out.
It was, I think it's just like, Ultra Miami Music Week was like last week.
It was last week, yeah.
And so I just got like hyped up from all the music.
You're like, I didn't go. But
well, I didn't go.
I just got amped
but
up.
then I like found some Spotify playlists where like, it's like kind of slow and then there's always a beat drop and then it like pumps up and then I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm like running at the Stairmaster. Yeah, that was the only reason I was able to do it, I think.
Well, we need to go soon.
Yeah.
It'll be fun, I promise. We can
now it will be more fun.
Yeah. And it'll be great. But I feel like showering like is very therapeutic for me. And like once I get out of the shower, I'm like, time for dinner, then I'm doing my skincare, then I'm getting in bed and reading because I sleep with my phone outside of my room, which really helps me a lot.
My phone is like basically off at like 8 p.m.
Yeah,
like it's away and I
can't work at all.
No.
And I'm sure that's a learned thing. And like that's another exciting thing about your 30s, right? Is like my 20s of owning my own business was like the most chaotic thing ever. I was like working till 3 a.m. and sleeping till 11. Like there was just no normalcy and I didn't know how good a routine could be for me because I was too young to really care.
I resisted routine.
I did too. I like loved the chaos. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah. And it's really funny because when I started out in the workforce,
did you have a corporate job first?
I did. Okay. Yeah. So I was in med device first.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so I started in like a program that was like to get you ready for like the field sales program.
Okay.
And it was very regimented of like you come in at 7 a.m., you leave at 3, maybe it was 3:30, whatever it was. But it was very routine and regimented and like everything you did, like, and then I usually would work out at like noon at the gym, at the office and everything. And then like come home, make dinner and kind of have a whole like system.
Right.
But it was kind of like not very, I didn't really consciously do it. It just kind of like happened.
It just happened, yeah.
And then when I got promoted into this field job, there's no schedule. It's like you kind of have to set your own schedule. Yeah. So I was at like the liberty of like whatever OR schedule I was on. And so that's where I was like, wow, routine is like so helpful. And then obviously owning your own business, there's zero routine.
None.
Like there's really no schedule. So it's like, I think finding your own schedule and routine and like, what are the little habits and kind of like triggers almost that you can be like, okay, I just finished my breakfast. So now it's time to do X, Y, and Z.
It's like and habit stacking. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like, okay, take a walk at noon to kind of reset. And then like, in the afternoon, okay, what can I get done in the afternoon type of things before like shutting off and having my like,
actual life
evening time. So I feel like those are the sort of things too. Cause it's great to have all the freedom. That's one of the things I love about this job. But obviously like when I'm traveling, I need to keep the same like rhythm and routine. And so I think having those things set up in place, like whether it's, I don't get all like 15 things done like of my routine in the day, but at least I have kind of those like little trigger moments of like, okay, it's time to do these things now.
Yeah.
And I think it's helpful to like really be consistent that way.
Well, and you mentioned earlier, your boundaries have gotten a lot better.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's happened with time too.
Yeah.
Because how long have you had your business for now?
I've had it technically for 5 years.
Okay.
But I think I would say kind of 3 years of like really full time. I quit my corporate job in September of 2022.
Wow.
And then moved here. And so,
so you moved to Denver when you quit? Oh,
yeah. So I was in Chicago
Interesting.
for 6 years after school.
Okay. Where are you from originally?
Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Go blue.
Love it.
Yeah. It was really fun growing up there. And then a lot of people like in the Midwest, like Chicago is kind of like a natural step because it's like not New York, like huge city. It's like big enough city. And it was driving distance at the time to where my parents lived. And then I loved it there. Like, I just loved being in the city and everything. But then COVID happened, and I feel like I did 6 years in the city, and I was like, okay, I'm ready for mountains, adventure, like outdoors, like a different lifestyle, a house, like, because we were just in a condo in Chicago and everything. And it was just like, I want something more for my life. And because in med device sales, like, you kind of have to wait for like territories to open up.
Oh, true.
And so I really wasn't like wanting to wait for a territory to open up in Denver.
So you quit and started your business like
I was like doing it. I was like doing my business while I was in med device sales
in Chicago.
Yeah, especially because like during COVID, like I worked in the operating rooms at the hospitals, and so they were mostly shut down during COVID. So I was really able to kind of like ramp up for 2 years, like learning social media, like understanding all the ins and outs, and then like growing my businesses that way.
It is so interesting. So many people I've talked to, like just from having this podcast, started their businesses during COVID.
Yeah.
Either because they lost a job.
Yeah.
Or because they just had like so much time on their hands.
Yeah.
And it's cool because I remember during COVID, because I was doing jewelry at that point, and no one was buying jewelry. Obviously, everyone was buying like toilet paper and, water. So I pivoted and started doing like how-tos, like how to make your own jewelry at home, because so many people are starting their own things.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think about that time now and then see all these businesses like flourishing from that, because of course it was so devastating and so many people lost their jobs and businesses, but like to see what was created from that like time of almost like forced stillness of the world is really, really cool.
Yeah, it is. I just think it's also so cool too, because like anytime I'm on TikTok and I see like an artist or something sharing their work, or like, I don't know, just all the little things of people's businesses especially on TikTok, it's so inspiring, because it's like, without social media, like they probably wouldn't have the same type of business.
Yeah, totally.
Like it helps so many people just blossom and do their own thing and try something new.
And was social media always just something that you loved, or more as a consumer, or what was the draw?
I always loved social media. I remember my sister got a puppy, a Bernese Mountain Dog puppy. Like they're the cutest things. And I was like, you have to make him an Instagram. Like you should post him. Like it would be the cutest thing ever. And she never did it. And so like when I like put my deposit down on my dog, I was like, I'm going to start an Instagram for her. I started an Instagram before she was even like born.
Just like prepping. That is so funny.
And my breeder like luckily posted a ton of videos and pictures. And so I like asked her permission. I was just using her pictures.
Them, yeah.
Like, the best part was like I was posting who knows what puppies.
Just random puppies.
Because you don't get like your puppy until they did like a temperament test to see like which puppies would match like which families for my breeder. And so I was like posting like every puppy like from the litter. And it was just like, okay, here's my update. But like it was so fun though.
Yeah, it's like a creative outlet.
Yeah. And so like I think before she came home, we had like 5,000 followers.
No way. Holy shit. When was this?
This was 2020.
Okay. Okay.
I think I might have started. When was she born? She's born in March. I think I started like March or April.
Okay.
And then she came home in May.
Okay. I love that.
It was like, I was like creating so much community and like talking with other dog parents. And like, it was just so fun to like build those relationships and like create friendships in that sort of sense. And like at that time too, it was like, I was a first time dog mom. Like I like had family dogs, but it's so different having your own dog versus like having a family dog, like a whole different,
I'm sure.
Like different set of responsibilities and everything. And so it was really great to like share that experience with people. And that was kind of like my purpose at first. And then like also get advice from other people and see like what they were doing. And I think that was kind of like such a cool part of it, because obviously like social media before, I was just like kind of posting what I was doing that week or whatever. Right. And then now there was like so much more purpose and drive behind it of like in connection that I didn't realize before. And I think that was like so powerful. And then I just kind of like was a sponge. Obviously I just had so much time on my hands. So I just like learned everything I could. And because I was in sales, it was just kind of this natural thing of like, I like pitch doctors at the scrub sink every day and get like looked at with strange, like they're like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, can you leave me alone? So like me putting myself out there to brands and being like, hey, I would love to like work with you. Yeah. And them like not responding or saying no. I was like, like whatever.
I don't care. Yeah.
Don't care at all. So then I started getting like more deals and I was pitching myself to brands. Versus a lot of my friends at that time were just like waiting for brands to like reach out to them, or like there's a lot of ambassador programs and stuff. And so then I realized kind of like there was a gap or like a need in the market of like teaching people how to do this.
Yeah.
And so I started kind of like an education side of my business where it was like teaching people how to negotiate, teaching people how to position themselves and pitch themselves to brands. And that was so rewarding because people were just making like 4-figure deals with like under 10,000 followers. And it was just like really cool to encourage them and like build their confidence in like what they have, because I think there's so many brands and it's really, really unfortunate. But one of their like stupid negotiating tactics is like, oh, this person with the same amount of followers and engagement is charging less. So like, why aren't you charging less? Or like, you're not worth that much. And it's like, that's not how that works.
No, not
and it's
at all.
really, and it makes people feel really bad. Or the flip side, just a natural negotiation tactic, a brand is always going to cut your rate. Like, it's just the nature of the business. That's what they have to do. Like, they can't necessarily always give you, like, if you're like, I want $1,000, they're not just going to be like, yeah, okay. It's like, and it's both sides. So teaching people like this is just a natural part of negotiating.
Like, don't take it too personally.
Yeah, don't take it personally. They have to say like, no, can you do it for, let me literally cut your rate in half. Yeah. And so then it's like, okay, when you're positioning yourself, you're like, okay, I'm going to double my rate because like for not every single situation, but there are some brands where I'm just like, I know how you're going to negotiate for me. Right. So I'm just going to predict that and I'm going to start like exponentially higher so that when you cut my rate in half, we can meet in the middle of what I actually want instead of what you want.
Well, I mean, and it sounds like doing that and starting that education side of your business really falls into line with why you started Socials in the first place, like for community, education, relating to other people and like helping other people. Yeah. And just like having those conversations 100% with people that are like in the same realm as you. Yeah. Which is so cool.
It's been like really cool to just see, I think a huge thing naturally, I think my parents like helped build a lot of confidence in me. Like my dad's an entrepreneur. Was from England and came over they actually went to Canada instead of the US. And he started his own business. So I come from like a family of entrepreneurs.
That's really cool. And so that wasn't foreign to you. Like, was that something that you saw for yourself?
I really didn't at first. But then like when I started everything, I was like, oh, I see like why my dad does this. Yeah. You know, and I see like why my family has done this. Like for, you know, how, you know, my uncles both started their own business. My grandpa started his business and just like, it's just really cool.
I think that's so cool to have that as an example growing up. Yeah. Because, I mean, my parents are the most supportive people on the planet, but, like, they were not entrepreneurs at all. Right. So, like, I never even thought of that as a path. And now in colleges, they have, like, entrepreneurship as, like, a major, but that just wasn't a thing. No. So it seemed very, like, foreign and out there to me.
Yeah. It definitely felt kind of weird, but then it's also at the same time, like, now I can call my dad and I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I doing in this situation? Like, yes. Can you help me figure this out? And it's, you know, there's so many different like real life examples and it's like, he doesn't have to have experience in the social media world to be like helpful for me.
Totally. There's still a blueprint.
It's the blueprint and like just being able to work up the ups and downs and everything like that. So totally. I think that's been really helpful. But I think it's like, I've had a level of confidence and a level of like, I know that I'm going to make it kind of thing. And I really wanted to help give that to other people. Yeah. Especially women. Because I think women oftentimes are not like given that same level of confidence or like that they have people in their corner being like, yes, you can do it. Like, yes, you can build your business. Yes, you can like work for yourself. Yes, you can like make a lot more money. And this is like how we're going to do it together. And I think that's like a huge driver for me because I think there's so many people that are like, just putting doubt in their minds. Yeah. And I really want to be a driver of like, yes, you can. I'm in your corner. I'm your partner. Like we're doing this together. And that's something that like I really strive and like want to make sure whenever like I'm working with somebody, we are like truly partners together. Like we're coming in this business together and you're contributing things. I'm contributing things. I'm helping guide you to what you want to build and like kind of checks and balances. Like, hey, you don't want to work this month. Let's figure out how to do that. Like, let's like figure out how to get you enough deals beforehand. You're offline for 3 to 4 weeks and then we can pick up when you get back home.
I love that. And like tailoring it to each person's idea of success. Yes. And of their goals as they change, which I think is really important because all of these brands and all these influencers, their lives are so dynamic. Yeah. Their goals are so dynamic. So going from doing this for yourself and pitching yourself and then creating that community on your own, what made you want to go off? I mean, going from med device sales to
Yes.
owning your own agency is so different.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of different factors that I just had such a passion and drive and fire in me with what I was building versus I think at least for sales for me, I think in order to be successful, you have to be very passionate about it. You have to be passionate about the products you're selling. You have to be passionate about the business that you represent. And I had been feeling like a huge disconnect from a lot of the products that I sold. There were a few that I was like really passionate and excited about, but there was a lot that like I just had to deal with on a regular basis that I was just not passionate or excited about. And so I could just see this difference in myself of like, I have so much drive for my own business and I want to work on it all the time. And like, I get lit up. Like my energy is just there versus this other thing is draining me. And I'm like, why am I here? What am I doing kind of thing? And it was like such a sheer difference. And fortunately, I was making more than I was in med device sales before I quit.
Oh, through your own brand deals or through helping other people?
Through like my own brand deals, coaching, and my agency.
Wow.
So I was like, I
really
can do
cool.
it.
Yeah.
So it felt really like it felt at the right time
to take that leap.
Yeah. But
cool.
Yeah, I think it's just like so there. I think that's something too that like when it comes to all of this stuff, it's like like going towards the energy, going towards the excitement, going towards the thing that like like you want to wake up in the morning for makes such a huge difference. And I think that's one of the reasons why like I am successful in this is because it's something that like I have so much purpose behind and so much like love for.
Right.
Versus like other jobs I might not be as willing to like wake up for or like care for.
Well, and I think it's so important, the distinction of you recognizing that there was that disconnect.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people stay in that job a lot longer than maybe they should.
Yeah.
Because they don't know, they're aware of it, but coming back to like being in your body and noticing those things, like you were very aware of that and were able to make that shift. And now you're more successful than you probably would have been if you stayed in med device sales. I would assume, because now you're building what you are passionate about.
But I also think it's like designing the life that you want to live. Like in med device, it's, you know, depending on what type of device you sell, it's, you know, 5 to 6 a.m. till 3, 4, 5 p.m.
And you're on your
Monday
feet
through
all
Friday.
day.
And, you know, you obviously can take vacation and everything, but like now I have so much more flexibility where I can like go skinning in the morning before work and then start work at 10 and have the entire day and feel really good about that.
Right.
Or I can work from Arizona, or I can work from, my parents live in Texas, and, you know, being able to travel and do different things, I think is such like an important thing to me. And also just like having balance outside of work. I think that's something that like I just didn't really feel like there was a huge balance to my life. And now I just feel like, okay, it's okay for me to take a day off. And I've set up my business where like I have a coordinator that helps me.
Oh, cool.
And so she takes care of like a lot of the like day-to-day things. And I'm focusing a lot more on like strategy, negotiating, and helping like get my clients to where they want to go like with their business overall.
Interesting.
And then my boyfriend does all of the finances and like invoicing, hounding brands for payments and everything too. So I think like building all of those different things together like has helped me kind of get to where I want to be.
Right. And focusing on what you know that you're good at and what you're passionate on. So coming back to the boundaries, like what do you think you've set up for yourself, and like what does that success look like to you? Because for some people, everyone has different goals. So like for me, I mean, obviously I want to make a lot of money, but also my like social life and traveling and doing all these things right now is more important to me. So sometimes I sacrifice opportunities because I just want to live my life.
Yeah. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about like kind of realizing what your goals are and being able to kind of create your business that way. Because for me, I think like a quarterly vacation is like an absolute must. I used to not take very many vacations at my corporate job, not because I like didn't think I could, but because I was like, okay, it's ingrained in my mind that like if I work more, like
you make more money.
I'll not even just make more money, but like it's better. Like I'm gonna be seen as more successful because I'm grinding. And I realized like how important and invaluable like taking the vacations are, because I come back and I feel so much more refreshed and energized and on fire for what I'm doing.
I'm the same.
And I think even though I don't necessarily feel like I need a break from what I'm doing because I love it, it's so helpful to have that break. And I even think that's the same thing for my clients. I'm like, I think influencing and being on social media is really hard sometimes because you're like, oh, I need to post every single day. But I'm like,
totally.
you can take breaks.
Right.
You can stop posting on the weekends. You can like, you know, take a vacation, and let's figure out how to let you take a vacation.
Right.
And putting time on your, you know, time off on your calendar instead of like working through things. And so I think those are really important. I think I try not to work on the weekends if I can. Sometimes there's deals and opportunities where like we have to go live on a Sunday or something, so I'm available, or like sometimes there's just like opportunities where I'm traveling for them. But I try not to work on the weekends, and then I shut my phone off at like 7 p.m. Not like off, but like it's, you know, I'm really not, I'm not checking emails, and I'm not like, obviously there's some exceptions there, just like if there's things that need to come in. But for the most part, those are like huge boundaries for me.
I love that. And I mean, I think the importance of breaks, and I find that, I mean, even right now, since I've started like YouTube blogging and stuff, I've struggled with that. And I've talked to Grace a lot about that, because she's like, you know, when I started, I was recording literally every single thing I did, and I got so burnt out from it. And I found a way. I think it's important to, if you're in the content space, finding a way to make the content work for you rather than it like working your life. Because I did the same thing. I was recording literally everything I was doing, and I'm like, no one cares about all this stuff. Like, I don't need to be recording every single moment, and like finding a way to make it work for me. And like this week I'm not YouTube blogging because I'm like, I need a break. Like I can't record myself this much. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, shit, like I went to dinner with my friend last night and like stayed with her, and I meant to like take a little picture of her, something cute to post. And then I'm like, no, it's like, it doesn't matter. Like you get in that mindset of, I have to be posting every day. I need to keep it interesting. Yesterday I was so busy because I was podcasting all day. Didn't post on Instagram or didn't post stories. And I'm like, dude, it's fine. Like, it doesn't matter. Really like, no one noticed that you didn't. And like, you've got so many other things circulating. Like, it's going to be okay. But like getting out of, because I do that sometimes. And I don't know if you ever do this, where I get in a routine and my head is so down in that routine that I forget to look up and realize either A, it's not working, or B, like, wait, you don't have to be posting 7 days a week. You can post like 4 days a week if you want, or every other day if you want. And that's okay. Like,
I think that's a huge thing, is like recognizing when your routine is no longer working for you or serving you. And I think that's a huge thing of journaling, is being like, oh, like eating at this time or working out at this time is currently not working for me. I don't like forcing it. But you're trying to force it, and then you're like resisting. And anytime there's like a huge resistance to something, I feel like it's such a good flag to be like, why am I resisting this so much right now? Like what is like not flowing, and how can I kind of like reassess it? One thing I will say for boundaries too, especially around social media, is trying to like anticipate and plan those things. Because I think what happens for a lot of influencers, and even like business owners, if they're posting on social, is like unplanned breaks. So like yesterday, like if you were kind of planning on posting and then you didn't post, it feels kind of like, oh no, I'm letting myself down.
Absolutely.
But if you're like, hey, Sarah, like I'm actually podcasting all day. I'm driving on whatever yesterday was, Wednesday. And then I'm going to be podcasting. And then today I'm recording 4 podcasts. So like, I am not going to be posting regular content. If I get a story in, great. But if not, then that's fine. Okay. And having that pre-planned, I think makes such a huge difference. I like that a lot. Because then it's working with your plan. And then of course, like we said, like reassess that plan. Like if, you know, if you're like, oh, I'm feeling like I want to post 5 days a week, actually. Like what 5 days work best for you? Like, is it Sunday through Thursday, or is it like, you know, Monday through Friday? Like what's the best sort of regiment for you? But I think that's where it feels better, because you're working in alignment with like your schedule and what feels good for you, versus being like, oh, I'm not going to post today. And then like it's throwing off what you like.
I love that. I need to work on that, because I set really unrealistic expectations for myself. And then like even yesterday, I mean, recorded 2 amazing podcasts, and they both went longer than planned. And like, things happened and it was totally fine. But I still had like a small to-do list of things I had to do yesterday. Did one of them, and because I was podcasting, and it's like I was busy all day. And I was on the phone with my boyfriend after, and he was like, are you okay? Like, you sound weird. And I was like, yeah, I had a really good day. I'm just feeling like kind of weird because I was supposed to post and I didn't. And like, but I'm like talking myself out of it. But I'm like, but it doesn't really matter. Like, it's totally fine. And I'm like looking, because I have like a content calendar that I keep. And typically on like a good week, I am like scheduling out all my posts. So like, I don't even have to worry about it. But I've had friends in town back to back, so I didn't have time to do that this Sunday. And I was looking at my content calendar, and I was like, well, it doesn't really matter if I just shift everything one day. Like, no one cares. No one's going to notice anyway. And it's just funny the way that we can talk or like force these expectations on ourselves when I'm like,
these like parameters. You're like, if I don't post on Wednesday, like I'm
yourself
gonna
in this box. And it's like, no one cares. I am my own boss. And sometimes as an entrepreneur, like, because people think, and this is like, people talk about this all the time, like, oh, like you set your own schedule, you can do whatever you want, whatever. And like, that is true. Like, I'm very flexible. I'm going to Asia for 2 months, you know, and like, and I can do that, which I'm so excited about. However, you still put these parameters on yourself and you work like a fucking workhorse because you're the only one telling you to work. And most entrepreneurs, if you have a successful business, you are very self-motivated. Like you're not a lazy person. So then you like have these weird constructs in your mind that you have to then break down and you're like, what is happening? It's just it's so funny.
Yeah. It's really helpful to like be in groups and like have conversations with other like agency owners or other like whatever industry you're in or just other entrepreneurs in general. Like I have a lot of friends that are like real estate agents and I think they have a very similar structure where it's like you are setting your own schedule and you're kind of like you're in charge of making your own money. You like work with clients and everything. I think that's like one of those things where it's like it's nice to be able to hear like I feel so overwhelmed and out of control right now.
Yeah.
Like, how do I fix it?
Yes. And you don't feel like a total loser failure. You're like, no, everyone else this too.
I know. It's like I'm in a group with a bunch of other agency owners and it's like probably the most like freeing thing because people are like, oh, this happened to me. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought this like you guys are like, because there's a lot of people I look up to in the industry and I'm like, oh my God, you're going through the same thing as me. Like, I can't believe that we're like in the same boat, like maybe at different scales, but it's just like so comforting to know that you're not the only person.
Well, and that's like a constant reminder too. And I have this when I talk to friends in the same space of like, you still, even though you know social media is fake, you still compare yourself. It's so natural. Always. And we have to spend time on it because it's part of our job, unfortunately. And there are times if I'm going through stuff or like business is really bad and then I see all my other friends succeeding, I'm like, it makes me feel worse. I'm like, fuck, like this sucks. And then you talk to them and like, I'll do things where like I have like a launch or something. And then I'm like, oops, sold out. It didn't sell out, but I make it sold out. And then I relaunch it again. Then like 2 weeks, I'm like restocked. And like people are making up shit all the time. Like it's all made up. And it's 100%. Like reminding yourself like this person is not perfect either. Like we're all going through our shit behind the scenes. And I just have to check myself so often with that.
For sure. I also, one big thing too, that I always like try and make sure I'm like checking myself on is like, do I actually want the things that this person is doing?
Yeah.
Because for example, there's like a couple agency owners that are like on the speaking circuit. Like they're like always doing like speaking gigs and stuff. Okay. And I'm like, do I actually want that life?
Yeah.
And I'm like, actually, I don't.
No, yeah.
Like, I would love to speak at a couple things, but I do not want to be speaking and pitching myself and not getting paid to speak.
Right.
For like a lot of different things. Or be traveling to speak and then leave.
Constantly,
like, just kind of like an in and out thing. Like, that's not really what I want to do.
Right.
And those are little things that I have to be like, is that what I want? Like, this looks shiny and this looks really cool over here.
Yeah.
But it's awesome for them and I'm so excited for them, but it's not what I want for my business in my life. And it was really funny. I met like another agency owner that like she manages really massive talent in LA. And she was telling me the reality of what that looks like. Cause I was like, oh, that would be like really cool to like go to events with my clients and different things. And she's like, no, like
she's like, it's
actually not fun.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, okay, but it's like, again, it looks shiny and cool because that's what people are showing you. But then in the reality of it, it's like, okay, is that actually what you want? So
you pull back the curtain and you're like, well, and it comes back to like knowing what your goals are. Yeah. And then shaping your business to that.
Yeah.
And like, even if you have it written somewhere, like your pillars of your business or your why, you look at that again and you're like, wait, no, I don't actually want that. Like it does look really cool, but it's just not for me.
Exactly.
And I would probably be miserable if I was in that same position, which is so cool.
For sure.
I love that you have so many friends in the space. Like that's so nice that like how have you met all these people? Just through social media or friends?
A lot of it is through social media. There's and LinkedIn too. LinkedIn is a huge place, especially just like for what I do. I think there's a lot of different things too. Just like LinkedIn is great for like connecting with people, like real people at brands. Yeah. Because you can kind of get to know like, okay, this is like who they are. Yeah. One girl I met because we were like on a briefing call together and she just messaged me on the side and she's like, hey, like she's another manager. And we were like, I like hate, like on Zoom, like the little separate chat, like direct message. She did that to me, and I was like, "Girl, I cannot. Like that is terrifying. Like, what if I didn't reply to you like on the call?" So after I was like, "I'm sorry, I was short, but like I could not risk that at all." But then I was like, I love connecting with other managers. Like, I would love to like chat with you, like please. But
that's so funny.
There's like also a networking group I'm part of called WIM. Women in Influencer Marketing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a really great group. There's like agency owners, managers, brands, like just a bunch of different people in the social media world. So it's cool to kind of get everybody's perspective. And there's just different calls to like network with people on. And then there's another girl that just posted like that she's in Denver, and she's like, "Hey, I want to start like a group in Denver." And so I just like kind of say yes to those things. At first I like definitely was more like, oh, I need to like try and do this on my own.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things like, why the fuck do you need to do it on your own?
Totally.
Like nobody does it on their own. Like everybody has somebody to like help them and like lean on. And so that I think has been a huge game changer of like knowing that I have like other people to support me, and I can like reach out to them and be like, "Hey, is this kind of weird?" Or like, what would you do in this situation? Or like, there's so many, like the landscape is ever changing. And so there's like so many things that happen. And you're like, okay, this is like something I've never seen before. Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
I think that's just like so helpful because it's like everyone's doing this for the first time sometimes.
Sure.
And it's like,
well, because it's all kind of being written as you go.
Yeah. And there's like all sorts of new things that happen all the time that it's like, oh, like we're really into this right now, or like this is happening, or whatever it is. And so I think it's really nice to just like have people to bounce ideas off of and just like check in with.
So how do you see the landscape changing, like from when you started to where it's going?
I really think a huge thing, and this is just like in the 5 years that like I've been on social media, but the people that can adapt like quickly and try new things out, I think are going to be the most successful, because like we've seen just like even like TikTok potentially going away, or just like little things that happen, like even just from 2020 and like Instagram Reels happening.
Yeah.
Like that was like a huge shift, and people like either got on it or didn't get on it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, who are the people that are like willing to adapt and try new things? And like, even in your own content, for example, if things start to get kind of like stagnant or stale, or like they don't work, like, are you able to kind of take a step back and look at it objectively and be like, this is why this isn't working? Like, okay, this video, even though I liked it and I put a lot of time into it, there's no value. Perform. There's no like, I get why this isn't working.
Yeah.
And like being able to kind of like look at that sort of thing and change. I also think the more people can really focus on like who their community is and really understanding them, I think there's a lot of people that grow and they almost like grow away from their community. Like they don't know who they're talking to anymore.
Interesting.
And so like being able to stay connected with your community, like trying to do different things with them, whether it's like events or just like, I don't know, ways to kind of stay connected with them, I think is going to be something that's interesting. I also think the more that people can like stick to their why, I think sometimes like as you grow and like money is starting to come, or even like if you get into social media for money initially, which is like fine, there's so many people that do, you still need to be connected to a why.
Right.
Like, why are you doing this?
Right.
Because otherwise you just become like blended in with the crowd and like you're doing the same thing as everyone
like
else.
Vapid almost.
So like how can you kind of keep coming back to your why? Your why can change. That's another big thing. I think it's like you can start out with one thing and then you can like also change that. And like it's good to change.
I think that's super important to remember.
Yeah.
That it's
like,
okay.
There's so many things that are going to happen, and it's okay that it's going to be different over time, especially if you're on social media for 10 years. Like you are going to change your why and your purpose and your drive over time. So like be good with that. And then I also think really connecting to like what your unique point of view is. Because I think sometimes like even with content, like people start to just blend together.
Yeah.
And so like the people that stick out to me and like the people that I look for now, like when I'm like looking to sign somebody, is having like such a unique point of view and like an interesting thing. Like and I think sometimes people are like, well, I'm like no different than anyone else. I'm like, but you are like your own person. Like your take on like, for example, skiing, like you live in a ski town, like you live at the mountain, like you have your own brand, like you podcast, like you are one of one, and like really trying to lean into that versus like, oh, I see X, Y, and Z skier doing this and I should do the exact same thing. And it's like, no, like you are your own like person, and you have such a, like your upbringing even shapes who you are as a person. Like share all the different things you're comfortable with, but like make sure it's from your own point of view and like lean into that. Don't like just see what else is being successful and try and go after the success or fame that is already being replicated. Like obviously there's certain things that you can take cues from, but make it your own.
Right. Well, and I think that comes back to like people talk about the oversaturation of social media and like, well, I don't want to do this because there are already so many people that are doing it. And I think it's only oversaturated if you're a carbon copy of someone else. Like
100%.
To your point, everyone is so unique.
Yeah.
There are no two people that are exactly the same.
Yeah.
But you can appear the same as someone else online if you and you can take inspiration from people, sure,
Yeah.
and like see what other people are doing. But like, yeah, how are you gonna bring something of value to your followers? And I think posting with intention too is really important instead of just posting for like bulk or because you feel like you have to. Like one of my friends, Anna Grace, she's a big influencer out of Florida. And she told me this a long time ago when I was like starting to post stories more. She was like, if you don't have anything to say, you don't have to post every day. Like you don't have to force it or just post like a random photo or just like say something meaningless or vapid. Like if you have something to talk about on your stories, talk about it. If you don't, just don't post anything. That's okay.
100%.
And I loved that. And that gave me the freedom to be like, oh, okay, I don't have to force it. Like we were talking about earlier, I don't have to take pictures of everything I'm doing. No. Like I don't have to like, and like earlier, whenever I do podcasts, I like put on different outfits for each podcast. So I look like different days. And I was like, oh shit, should I be like recording me like changing outfits all day? And I'm like, no, I don't need to do that. Like that's okay. I can just podcast and that's fine.
100%.
So it's just always reminding yourself of all those things. And I think the ability to pivot comes with entrepreneurship too. Like the ability to try new things and like test things and not be so rigid that you don't allow yourself to just like try something and it's okay if it fails, but then change and do something else. I think is really important.
I think that pivoting and trying the new things is so essential because the other thing too is that like I even look at one of my creators, Devin, who I think
she's the one that also you do the podcast.
Yes, she's also the one I do a podcast with. But I think that it's been so cool to see like how she's adapted she's really big into like mini vlogs on like TikTok and Instagram.
Oh, cool.
But like her vlogs have adapted and changed so much. Like she does really cool angles with her videos, like just like up high, like and just like different points of view. And I just like I've seen like over time how they've improved so much. And like her storytelling is so interesting and captivating. And there's just so many little things. But like if she started and her first vlog sucked and it got 0 views and she never did it again, she would be nowhere near where she is today. And now I think she's just such an incredible, like she has just mastered that. And the best thing is she keeps trying different things.
Yeah.
Like, she's trying different mediums and like different like, you know, add-ons and different text and different like graphics in those vlogs. And I don't know, just trying different things to make it interesting. But if like you are like, oh, this didn't perform very well and I'm not going to try it ever again, like then you're never going to be able to improve that thing. So I think it's like so important to remember those little things because you never know. I also think too, this whole like unique point of view and this unique standpoint, more and more brands are looking for that. So like say your video doesn't get like a viral amount of views. I have seen more and more brands that are like, I want to work with this person because they have such a cool editing style.
I like their style.
Or they like, I love how they do their storytelling or I love this and that about it. Like you never know who's watching. Like there's so many like brand people on social media, especially like they'll just like message my clients and they're like, oh my God, we're like such a big fan of you. And they're like, they work for the brand. They're not like the brand account, you know? And I'm like, you just never know who's watching your content.
Totally.
So,
that's
like,
so true.
Just because it didn't perform well, like, don't be like down about it because you don't know. Like someone might be just so into like what you're doing and your style and like your editing and all this stuff.
And I think being too attached to the result, being like the views and stuff, like, is so toxic too because you do spend a lot of time on your content and like you want it to be seen. I mean, that's why you're posting it in the first place and you want people to like relate to it and enjoy it. So when things don't perform like you hope, you have 100%. To just have the ability to like keep going instead of being like, well, that didn't work. I'm giving up. Like I'm not going to post for a while. Like it's okay. Just like keep your head down and like keep trying to make things that are authentic to you and hope that like sticks at some point.
100%. I think that and I understand. I want to say that like I really understand where it comes from because there's like my boyfriend right now is like reaching out to, he's like building his golf pages on cool. Instagram and TikTok. So it's kind of cool to like kind of see this in tandem or this advice in tandem. But I can see where it comes from because there's so many brands that are like stuck on followers or views and stuff. And I get it. But at the same time, because like there's someone who's like, hey, we need you to have like 10,000 followers. I'm like, okay, that brand is just like focused on a different goal. Right. And like there's going to be other brands that match what you're looking for. Yeah. And you guys, you're going to find something that aligns with you. Right. But it's like, it is tough because I know brands are coming back to people and being like, you need better engagement. You need better this. You need better that. But like there are so many options out there for you to pitch where it's like they don't care about your followers. They like your style of content, or they don't care about engagement. They like your views or whatever it may be. So I feel like that's another motivation to like kind of keep going and putting yourself out there, because you will find like the person and the people and the brands that like connect with you and that align with your vision and what you want to do.
Well, then the content will make more sense too, because you guys have similar styles. Like I was talking to 2 photographers yesterday and they were saying since they've started their business, there have been people that they've decided not to work with, like companies, because the vision that they want and the product shots that they want don't really align with their style of photography. And they're like, love that you have a specific vision and that you like have this brand, but like we just don't know if we can create that for you, because we need a little more leeway so we can get creative. And like that's why we started this kind of thing,
for sure,
which I think is cool.
I think that's another really big thing, like when people are starting out like working with brands, one of my like big philosophies of like how I go about partnerships and everything is like, how can we make this a win-win together? And I really like, and it's annoying when brands like don't want to like have deeper conversations about this, because I'm like, how are we going to be successful together? Yeah. But there are so many more brands now that are like, hey, like let's jump on the phone for like 10 minutes and just talk through like this is what they need for success and this is what we can provide. Like this is where the creator is like really good in their strengths and like how we can kind of align that together. And sometimes it just doesn't work because what they want is what my creators like don't have. And so it's so much better for me to be like, this is not the right partnership or not the right time, and let's circle back, because then they know like I care about the results.
Yeah, and that you're on the same team. You're not just it's not transactional to you.
No. And I think there's so and it's really fulfilling, especially when like things are going in the right direction. We both get these awesome results together. And we can both be like, yes, this was a huge success. This was a huge win.
Yeah. And we can like grow together.
Yeah. And I think, and that's where you like maintain your relationships too with brands, because the relationship aspect is everything. Like I built one of my like best relationships with a girl at a brand, and then she left and she's part of a bigger agency now. And so now she floats me like all of these opportunities of like, hey, do you have anybody for this? Do you have anybody for that? Do you have anybody like in this category? And so we're able to like really help each other now, because she like can tap me for like whatever she needs.
I mean, and I think that plays into like back to the golden rule of like treat everyone how you want to be treated. Like in the types of businesses we're in, like I've never been to like a networking event per se, but like anytime I meet anyone, and I don't do this out of like a slimy way, but I always try to treat everyone with so much kindness, because you never know what that person's going through. You never know where they're coming from. And you also never know, like maybe down the line, they'll think of you for something and reach their neck out because you were just showed them like innate kindness. For sure. And I think that all comes back around. Like you never know how people are going to help you. And coming back to your community too, and like building those relationships with other agencies and like other owners. At the beginning, it can feel like, oh, I have to be gatekeepy. I have to like do this on my own. And like, if anyone knows what I'm doing, like they're going to steal. I don't know. Like I remember when I first started jewelry, I felt really like protective of everything.
Oh yeah. Cause it's your baby. You're like, oh my God, this is like my like idea, my like one of one kind of thing.
And it's scary and you want to be unique and you want to be successful. But when you realize that like by working with other people and helping others, you in turn will also grow. Like someone else's growth isn't going to hinder your own. No. Everyone can grow together and there's plenty of space for everyone, I think is a really cool lesson. So similarly to your friend, it's like you just never know what'll come from it. And like you reaching your neck out for your influencers and for the brands too. Yeah. And being honest and going in with good intention. Like I think with karma and with everything else, it's all going to come back, and then you grow longer relationships with these people.
Yeah. I definitely think there's like, I know that there is cattiness like in the influencer space at times, but I have been so impressed and excited about like the agency owners that I've met and connected with. And like, they're just so uplifting and like ready to like lend a hand or like share contact information or like, you know, hey, this is like how this has happened or whatever. And it's like, it's just the best. And I think that if creators like haven't found girls like that or guys like that, then like keep looking, because there are other people out there that are like going to be so supportive to you and like want to cheer you on and like help you in any way they can. And if they have like, and I think it's, what is it? Like if they don't have an abundance mindset, like it's not anything personal. I think some people just take a little bit longer to get there, that there's like enough to go around.
For sure.
But I really think that like the more people can like kind of spread that abundance mindset, like the better we can like all kind of lift each other up.
Absolutely. And I get that scarcity mindset. I've been there too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I think that just comes with time. Like once you have your business for a while, because I've seen other friends go through that too, where they're like a little more gatekeepy or just like not very nice because they're like scared. But it's like they're like tense of like someone's gonna try to steal my baby, someone's gonna try to steal my success. And it's like, no, it's okay. Like no one's here to steal it. I mean, there are people out there that have copied and whatever, but like just don't focus on those people. Focus on the good people in the space. Yeah. So when you're looking for new clients, how does that work? Like what's a criteria that you look for, and what are things that make certain people stand out to you? And also, are you pitching to clients, or are they coming to you?
A bit of both.
Okay.
I definitely, when I'm like looking for clients, like if I'm on social media and everything, I try to like understand their content and like understand who they are as a person first. Sometimes I get really excited. I'm like, oh, I should pitch them tomorrow. Like, but I'm like, okay, let me just like watch their content more and like get to know them because like, you know, everyone kind of shows up differently on stories, on their Instagram, on TikTok and everything. So it's like really fun to kind of like watch them and see what they're about for a little while and see like kind of if that could be a potential match, or like if it's something that I'm like, oh yeah, like I would love to like pitch them and see like if we could work together. Yeah. When people are coming to me though, I definitely look at like, first of all, I say follower count does not matter to me. It's way more about like if brands are interested in you and like they're already reaching out and you're getting deals and interest from brands, because ultimately like for us, like we are a commission-based model. Totally. So we make a commission off of like what we secure for you. And so that's really important to make sure that there's something to like make a commission off of, because since I have like an accounting team, I have my boyfriend for finance, I have a coordinator, like we need to make sure that it's like it aligns business wise. Totally. For us too. And I never want to like take anything that like if someone's making like $20,000 a year, for example, like they should take all of that $20,000. Like that you shouldn't be paying somebody else like me like 20% of that. Right. Because like that's just not enough like for me or you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's not worth your time at the end of the day. Or it's just like not worth the commission, you know? Like it's like they should really take all of that $5,000 or $4,000 rather and put it back into their business, whether it's like hiring an assistant or just like keeping it for like, you know, whatever they need to do. Right. So I try and look between like $5,000 to $10,000 a month on average for like what people are making, so that we can kind of like project, you know, like what is it called? Predict the number. There's another word for it. I'm like, are you saying like you want them to have like a base of that much already so that you can build off of that? Yeah. So we can like build off of that and just be able to like know like what's going to come in and like how we can like scale that more. Yeah. So that's like a big thing. I think having like their like a specific point of view and content style that like really is unique to them, and it's not like a carbon copy or cookie cutter or like somebody else. Right. Because oftentimes what happens for brands, and it's funny because like just even representing people in the same space, I'll get the same email. So it's like, you know, you're competing with somebody else. So it's really helpful, I think, is like, you know, I can pitch you for your own unique things and your own unique strengths. Yeah. And if I can see that in your content and I can be like, okay, this is how I'm going to position you, I'm going to use X, Y, and Z things, then I know like, okay, this is going to be better than being like, okay, here are your strengths, but there's also the same strengths as like 20 other people. Yeah. So like, how can we like make you make it even more unique and stand out? Yeah. More. How can we make your pitch and your everything else stronger? Okay. I think consistency, and I don't mean you don't need to be posting every day, but you need to have a consistency in your posting, like whether it's 3 times a week, 5 times a week. I think seeing engagement in your community is really powerful, whether it's through like, you know, oftentimes you can kind of get a sense of people if they're like really friendly in their DMs or if they have like the types of comments they're getting. Like if it's not just like so cute, but they're like, oh my God, this like resonated so much with me. Thank you so much for sharing. Like that also means a lot to me, because then I know like your community really cares about you specifically versus like, oh, it's just a viral video that like everyone thought was cute and shared it with people, you know? Right. I think seeing you work with brands, or at least putting brands in your content, I think that's a huge thing for me, because ultimately what happens when brands are coming to your page and seeing if they want to work with you is if they can see themselves in your content. So if you don't ever, like if you want to work with a bottle brand and you never show water or talk about water or like have water like in your content.
Interesting.
Or something water adjacent. So like if
Right.
you are never working out or you're never like doing something where you need water,
And
like
it would like fit into your lifestyle.
it would fit into the lifestyle.
Cool.
Then that's something else I really look for. Especially, for example, say if you're like, hey, I really want to work with this water brand and you have no athletic content or like no sort of like wellness content. I'm like, is that something you're planning on posting eventually? Is that like a new category you want to get into? Or is that something you never want to post, but you still have like this huge water brand on your vision board?
Wow. I think that is great advice.
Yeah.
Like creating content maybe for like, because I'm still figuring, like I just started influencing in the last like 2 years. So I'm still trying to figure out like what my niche is and like what my POV is and like what is going to be the difference between like my personal brand and Raw and Rebellious, because I do want them to like
that's a really tough thing,
and it's really hard because
it's very impressive because I think that
Rebellious. Thank you.
I think that you have done a really good job of like creating that and testing that out this year.
Thank you. And I'm like really trying to not be rigid with it. I'm trying to be creative and like it's also funny with Raw and Rebellious. I've had it for so long and I've posted so freely on it for so long. I don't even think about like what I'm posting. Like I'm very free with it, but my personal account is like more personal to me. So like when I first started posting like stories, I never really post on my personal because I'm always on Raw and Rebellious. And one of my friends in LA who's a huge like influencer YouTube girl was like, dude, why are you not influencing from your personal? Like you have a following already. You could like grow off of that and like bring people from Raw and Rebellious, whatever. I was like, I don't know, I've never really thought about it. And then I like got back in that headspace of like, wait, is this cringy? Is this? And I just haven't thought like that in so long. And I'm like, no, it doesn't matter. And I like worked through it and like, I don't care. But it was funny to like have to convince myself again that like it was okay. And like, I don't care if people judge me. Like if someone from high school sees this, like it just doesn't matter.
So what?
But that's been something that I've been trying to figure out. And I like that advice of like creating content that aligns with like who you want to work with and who you want to be. Like, because I want to get more into like ski stuff and like I don't work with free people, but I whenever I post wearing like their ski bibs, I tag them every single time. Just because like who knows, like
that's
maybe
exactly,
someday. And even thinking about like other brands that I want to work with, like I have Crohn's, so brands that I would love to work with would be like brands that are clean that I can eat, because there's a lot of stuff that I can't eat. But I don't ever post anything about my food. And that, as you're saying that, I'm like, wait, like on my vision board, there's so many brands that I want to work with, like Chomps or like this like certain cashew milk that I always buy because it's super niche to what I can have. So I think I could tell a really cool story with it. I've never fucking posted that in my life.
Have you posted that you have Crohn's?
On my podcast and on Ron but not really on my personal.
So that's that would be a huge like
a new take that I could
for sure.
Like a POV. That's really, really good advice. Is
and I think the other thing too that I always tell people, especially like specifically in the ski industry, right? Like you are not going to just go buy like 10 different pairs of skis or new boots, or like everything in the ski industry is like quite expensive. So it's not really about like you trying to post every single brand you want to work with, but just posting in the category itself of skiing, or like what there's like so many other things that like are expensive, like even photography. Like if someone wants to get into photography, you don't need to go buy like 30 lenses or like all of this stuff, but post and share your photography journey and post with your equipment and stuff.
Right.
So that you can kind of see like, so brands can see like, oh, like this is what she's doing. So I think that's something, because sometimes people are like, oh, I don't have like the brand like tagged in my content. And I'm like, it's okay that you don't, because I think that's a huge thing. Like obviously it's so much easier when you're getting gifted, like I think the fashion space is one of those things where it's like you're getting gifted all these clothes, so you can post new stuff all the time.
Right.
But like when you're not there yet, you're like, how do I get started? And so it's like just posting, you know, get ready with me's or like your outfits for the week or whatever it is, like however you want to do it. But
I love that advice.
Yeah.
But what other things would you say for people that are trying to grow in the space? Or are there any like common mistakes that you see girls making like right off the bat?
A little one that like I understand to some degree, but like follow trains are like engagement pods.
What's that?
Like there's just different groups where people are like, okay, like comment on my post, like everyone's gonna comment on this post. And and I think what happens, I understand like if you're friendly with a lot of people, like so just you have a lot of friends and they naturally comment to your post, that's different. But one thing that I've seen is like it's just really hard to understand what people actually give a fuck about. Like if you're posting something and everyone's like, oh my God, I love that sweater, but then like you don't have any sales for that sweater. You don't have any link clicks for that sweater. And when you go to work with that brand, nothing happens when you post that sweater. Then like, that's not very helpful for you as a person. So I think when you're starting out, those things are very enticing because it makes it look better.
Right.
But I would stay away from them because then you can understand what actually like people care about and like your audience cares about.
That's a really good tip too, of like paying attention to what people are engaging with organically and then like actually noticing that and like doubling down on that. Yeah. Like if everyone responds to like your skincare routine or to like the book that you just talked about that you read or whatever, like that's what your followers are interested in.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I said earlier too, is like really focusing on your community and staying connected with your community. I think like sometimes when you're starting out, like you are doing a lot more polls and like asking what people are interested in and stuff. I think keep doing that over time and seeing like what people care about and like utilizing your analytics to your advantage.
Right.
I do think that really coming back to your why a lot, like sometimes people get away from the why because they're just trying to post and everything and then they kind of get separated from that. And it's like, okay, come back to it, because anytime your content is like taking a dip or not doing the way you want it to, like I guarantee if you come back to that and you share something different, like it's going to make such a huge difference.
Yeah.
I think being able to try different content styles to see what works best for you and what you can be consistent with. Sometimes I think when people are starting out, they're like, oh, I need to do all of these different things. One thing I would say is like pick 3 to 4 categories that you want to like work in or like post in. And I think if you can kind of get those on the schedule. So say for instance, it's like skiing, Crohn's / like eating wellness, business, and what's another one for you?
Something about like retreats or like travel or something?
Yeah,
like travel advice?
Travel.
Yeah.
So then if you're posting kind of like, you know, skiing / like outdoor stuff like one day and making sure you kind of have it like checked on the calendar.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think people get in this like, okay, I'm just going to post skiing for 4 days.
Yeah.
And then you forget about, oh, wait, I haven't like posted Crohn's or like my wellness journey in like 2 to 3 weeks.
Right.
So kind of making sure you have one of those things like every single week. So when somebody comes to your page, like a brand comes to your page, they're easily able to scroll through and kind of see those things on your page, like really obvious.
I like that. I'm gonna map that out.
Yeah.
That's
and it's
cool.
really, honestly, you could just go into like a Google sheet and like make a calendar and just be like, okay, wellness, skiing, travel, business. Like, and it doesn't have to be like perfect. You can have like 2 businesses each like in a row, but like at least you're checking it off. And so when someone comes to your grid, they're seeing like each of those categories. I think when you're first starting out, making sure your profile is like attractive in that way where you're like, okay, I really want to work with these brands. So you can like pin those little things at the top. So you can post like, you can pin like maybe travel, skiing / outdoors and your business or like Crohn's and wellness, especially if you don't have like a lot of that content yet. At least it's like on your feed. I think your highlights are a really good place to put those stuff too. And your bio. Okay. Like just when you're first starting out and you're establishing yourself, like you need to do some of these things. Cause I know some people will look to bigger creators and they're like, live, laugh, love is like their bio. Yeah. And they're getting like $1 million deals. I'm like, okay. But you need to start at like a different point. Yeah. And like really tell people like what you're posting about. Yeah, because sometimes you have to like, you know, you're trying to like post yourself. I also think start pitching sooner than you think. My boyfriend has like under 1,000 followers and like starting those conversations now. And some of them might not be paid. Some of them might be just gifted stuff. But at least you're getting products on your page. Right. He's in the golf space, so things are very expensive. So it's like you don't have to give people content. Like you can just be like, hey, I'm gonna post this organically on my own time. And then it's like on your page and you're getting content with brands on your feed. And just be careful, like, you know, reading your contracts and stuff. Don't like give all your rights away for things. But I think it's good to like start those conversations early and start building those relationships. Because you might get a bunch of no's when you first start, but you've gotten that contact. You can follow up with them. You can give them new ideas. And you're just having a starting point. Yeah, because I like that. Ultimately, it's like relationship building. Right. So it doesn't really help when you're like, okay, I really want to pitch Free People Movement, but you've never talked to them before. Totally. But if you've pitched them like 5 times or followed up with them with ideas or just different things, then when they're like, hey, you're the perfect person for this right now. Yeah, like, oh, they like think of you for this. Then, yeah, you're kind of staying top of mind. So I think definitely pitch earlier. Utilize LinkedIn. Oh, okay. You can get to know people on the brands. More and more brand managers and social media managers are on TikTok. Like the girl from Base is on TikTok. I forgot her like name. Free People Movement. Kelsey's on TikTok posting like just different tips and things. Cool. There's a Takovis girl I follow. Another girl from Skin Fix. Like they're just more and more girls that are popping up from like the people that hire people, and they're posting like interesting, fun content about their lives. And you're like,
cool.
and that's what you use in your pitches. Like, hey,
Totally.
I freaking love your content. And here's like
Right.
actually my pitch. And this is what you told me to say.
Well,
like,
and you get to know that person
Yeah.
as a person instead of like thinking of like this massive company. It is just a person.
It
that you're
is
talking
just
to.
a person.
Yeah. So I mean, it's important to personalize that. I mean, I tell people that all the time in pitching to brands too, because I get DMs every other day on Ron Rebellious of like,
I'm sure.
hi, fill in blank here, and it's like the most like cookie cutter. Like they do not
Don't
put,
cookie cutter.
and I don't care.
Don't use ChatGPT. My
No,
boyfriend has sent me like 3
don't.
pitches, and I'm like, you use ChatGPT.
Yeah,
dude. I was
you
like,
can
this looks
tell.
like trash. Like, because basically what I say for that, I'm like, if you can remove Wrong Rebellious from the pitch and insert any other brand and it'd be the same thing,
Yes.
you have to rewrite that.
Totally.
Like-
and I don't think you should copy and paste anything in that. Like if you, instead of pitching to 50 brands, pitch to 2 that you're obsessed with and like make it good, because I rarely work with people unless I like know them on a personal level or feel like I know them and like that we really align. Yeah. But if you send me like a really heartfelt thing, maybe I will send you a hoodie, you know, or like, or whatever it is that you're asking for in exchange, because my brand is a living, breathing thing. Yeah. And I want it to be represented by like someone that cares, not someone that just wants something for free.
I know.
You know?
Exactly.
And other brands care about that too.
100%. And I think that what you can do if you want to be like a little work harder, not smarter, say you're, for instance, pitching like a Free People Movement brand and you're pitching like athletic brands.
Okay.
You can utilize similar links, because I think in pitches, I think it's really beneficial when you can show people what you're going to do. So say you have 3 posts with like different athletic wear, or like you working out, you trying on clothes, like trying on different like outfits for workouts, and then you actually doing a workout or something like a day in life, try on haul, and a workout. You can utilize those same 3 links for those same athletic brand pitches, but then personalize the ideas that you're gonna use for those brands, and then personalize the intro message.
Sure. Like maybe one's a ski brand, maybe one's like more for like the gym, maybe one's like specifically like a booty workout thing. And it's like, and like having specific ideas.
So you can use some of the same outline, like with your examples and stuff, but like make sure there's a personalized component to it.
I like that.
So you can like combine a couple different things together, because that's what we do when we're like pitching for our clients. Is I am like, and this is what I always say, I'm very collaborative with anyone I work with, because I'm like, you are always going to know your content better than I do. I stalk everyone's content that I work with. I like know it pretty well, but like sometimes when I'm in a pinch, I'm like, where is this video? I know it's here, but where is it? I'm constantly asking them for examples of their work, because it's so much more powerful to send a brand like, hey, we've used you before and here's an example of this. Or here's an example of like how this is going to work with your brand. So I think that's really important too, is like showing different examples of what you've done. And that's another thing of like, if you have all these brands that you're like showing in your work, like, you know, when you're posting, then you're kind of building your portfolio as well as posting for your audience.
Because it is a portfolio at the end of the day. Your Instagram is.
Exactly.
And that's why, I mean, some of the collaborations and things that I've taken in the last year, even if it's something that is gifted instead of paid, I'm like, you know what? But I'm still building my resume. Like I have to start somewhere. And like my friends that are making like $60K for a brand trip, like they didn't do that overnight. Like they've been doing this for 10 years, you know? So the ability to start small and like just also like choosing things that align with you and your audience. Like if you're promoting something that like doesn't work or that like doesn't align with you at all, people are going to sniff that out at the beginning and not really trust you. Yeah. And the trust, I think, is so important.
It's so huge.
With your community.
Yeah.
But it's so cool talking to you about this, because, I mean, even you saying at the beginning how much you love this, like you like light up when you talk about this and you get so excited. And so it's so cool that you've created a job around this. And not only are you taking clients and helping them make money, you're also just like educating people. Yeah. Which is so cool in a space that is still like being written as it happens. Yeah. It's beautiful that you're just like helping people at the end of the day. Yeah. Like take charge of their own lives and like create something that they're proud of.
For sure.
So that's awesome.
It's very rewarding. It's very cool to see like some of the messages I get from like even my own clients. They're like, I never would have charged that, or like we're double, tripling, quadrupling their rates, and it's just like so exciting to see.
Powerful, dude. That's awesome.
And it's like they're like, oh my god, I didn't even know this was possible.
Yes.
Like, I know it's possible. Like I'm just helping you get there.
Yeah. I love it's very empowering.
Yeah,
which I love. So what's next for you? I mean, what are you working on? Do you have any goals or things that you're looking towards in the next year or so?
I'm working on expanding the agency a little bit more.
Like scaling a little bit?
Scaling. I think, like, we're talking about imposter syndrome and everything. It is so scary to, like, take the next step because it is, like, hiring another coordinator or talent manager and bringing on new clients. I think I take my clients' businesses so seriously because, like, we're an extension of their business.
Yeah.
And it's their livelihood and it's, like, something that they're relying on. And so it's something that I'm just like, I want to find the right people. And I've found like one of the best coordinators in the world. And so now it's just like replicating that process and being able to kind of grow that. I want to grow more in each vertical that I kind of have. I have like outdoor travel, pet, and then lifestyle.
Oh, cool.
So I'd love to like grow each of those kind of like individually too.
I like that.
Probably a little bit more in like the outdoor travel space and like lifestyle space because I have like a pretty good number of pet right now. I always take more pet, but I think those are kind of like really exciting to me. And I feel like
there's so,
yeah. And there's
natural.
Like, I think that I sometimes see, I like know kind of like how some of these brands negotiate and like the offers and stuff. And I would just love to like help more of those girls make more money and just like advocate for themselves and feel really good about their businesses. Mm-hmm. Especially just, you know, when we get the offers and stuff, I'm just like, I know exactly how this is going for you. And
yeah.
like,
yes.
Let me help you.
Yeah, please let me help you. Yes.
I think we're trying to do more travel this year and I'm trying to like balance it out. So we have Austin in April. Well, actually I'm going to Phoenix and then Carlsbad next week.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. We're doing a brand trip.
What brand trip?
We're working with Visit Carlsbad.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
so
nice.
that'll be really fun.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's going to be amazing. They have flower fields, so that's going to be really cute.
Fun.
Yeah. And then we're going to Austin at the end of April, Phoenix in May with Joe's parents, and then I don't even know all the things, but I just want to do more. Yeah, I think just a little more travel this year.
Cool. I'm so excited for you. This is so fun.
This is so good.
I'm bummed I'm not in town longer because I want to like co-work and just like hang out, but I am moving back to Denver.
What?
In January.
Oh my God, that's so exciting.
So I know. So I'm like literally this whole time I'm in the back of my mind, I'm like, I want to like hang out every single day when I'm back. I'm so serious. And then I'm going to force you to skin all the time. Okay. we can drive together.
Yes.
And your house will be renovated. That's exciting.
Yes. We're in the process of
what area do you live in?
Littleton.
Oh, nice. Do you like Littleton?
I love it.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about it actually.
We're like on the western side, so we're like super close to 470 I-70. And so
that's
it's like
what I've heard is good if you're living in Denver for like quick access to the mountains.
Yeah.
Quicker than like living deeper in Denver and like
I know.
Yeah. This has been so fun. I'm so glad we got to do this.
Too.
And I can't wait to hang out all the time and chat more. Where can everyone find you and all the things?
My personal Instagram is Rosie and Britt. That's like my OG like dog account. But I'm posting more personal stuff there. And then my agency is Brittany Victoria Agency.
And your podcast?
And my podcast is So Glad We're Friends. So
yay! We'll follow on all the things. Thank you so much, Brittany, for coming on. And thank you guys so much for listening.
Bye.
Talk to you next week. All right, and that is a wrap on this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. This was so much freaking fun. We've got lots of episodes docked. We've been doing this for a while, so if you're new here, I hope you stick around. You can follow us at Raw Intentions Podcast on Instagram and catch us every single Thursday, anywhere you get your podcasts. If you like what you heard, I would love nothing more than for you to like, subscribe, tell your friends, review, all the things so we can continue to grow and reach new audiences. And follow Brittany on all the things and slide into her DMs with any questions that may have bubbled up and slide into ours anytime you want to chat. But thank you guys so much. I will chat with y'all next Thursday and have a fabulous weekend. Bye.